Welcome to Sunday School, everyone. We're so glad you're here with us. Today is September the 27th, 2020. So we're at the end of the month again.
That's right. And we are very glad you're here. And Miss Jenna, wow, you have made our set look so pretty today.
Miss Heather, I didn't do this. I thought you done this.
Surprise!
Hey, Zeke.
Hey, how you doing?
Oh, I'm good. How are you doing today?
I'm doing great.
Good.
Zeke, what is all of this? Did you decorate all of the set for us today?
Yeah, I sure did. I thought we need to celebrate. Nehemiah and all the people that finished building the walls, and I thought we need to celebrate good times. Come on!
Well, that's true, Zeke. Well, Zeke, you're actually right. Nehemiah and the Jews did have a really big celebration. And you know, that's actually in Nehemiah chapter 8. Did you know that?
I didn't know that.
Yep. Well, would you like to hear all about it?
I sure would. Would you tell me?
We sure can.
Sure. So you see, Zeke, here's what happened. The walls around Jerusalem, they had been destroyed because King Nebuchadnezzar had come and taken over the land.
King Neba, what? Neba.
Okay.
Neba.
That is a hard one. Yes, it's a hard one. King Nebuchadnezzar.
Whoa.
Yeah.
It's a big word.
Big word.
It is.
Well, when he came, he actually burned down the temple that Solomon built. The big, beautiful temple. He burnt it down. He destroyed all the city walls. And he took the Jews away as slaves. And they remained that way for 70 years.
Whoa.
Yeah.
That is scary.
Yeah.
Well, you're right, Zeke. It was a very scary time. Yeah, it was.
Well, why would God do that to his own people?
Well, Zeke, God was angry with them because they continually disobeyed him.
That's right. You know, Zeke, you don't get to just disobey God over and over again and just think you're going to get away with it. When God has had enough of our behavior, he's going to punish us.
But he does it because he loves us so much.
Well, I know about being punished, but it doesn't feel like he loves them when that type of punishment.
Well, you know what? Punishment never, ever feels good. It doesn't. But see, the purpose of God's punishment is to remind us that we need to obey God and we need to follow all of his commandments.
Well, Zeke, why don't you run along and we'll see if we can find some of our other puppet friends to help tell the story today.
Okay, I'm going to run.
Okay. He always keeps us on our toes.
I know, he does. That boy's in a hurry. So today, our puppets,
Yes.
we're going to have two that are going to join us. And one is Nehemiah, but then also we're going to have Ezra that's going to join us today.
Ezra. That's a book that we've been singing about in the Old Testament.
That's right. It's actually the book right before Nehemiah.
Oh, okay.
And we skipped it, actually. And the reason we did is because it kind of goes along with this story. And Ezra, it was a prophet.
Okay.
And he was the prophet during the time of Nehemiah.
Okay.
So today he's going to talk to us.
Okay. Well, let's see what we can learn from our puppets.
Okay. All right, let's watch.
Good morning, Ezra. Now that the wall is complete, we should return to having the yearly Jewish festivals.
It is the 7th month of the Jewish year, so it's almost time for the festival of booths. We should call all the Jewish people together to observe the festival with us.
That's a great idea. I'll call all the people together to celebrate.
You know, that is a great idea. The people worked so hard to restore the wall. I think celebration, that's a good thing.
I agree.
I agree, but you should know that the Jewish celebrations are not like most parties that you have today.
That's true. Throughout the year, Jews have special days set aside to remember God and to thank him for all he has done for them.
These special days were observed by all the Jews. As many as possible would come to Jerusalem for the celebrations. So being able to come back made this an extra special time.
We better run along and get ready for the feast.
I'll take the slide.
Whee!
Me too. Whee!
One thing that always happens on Jewish holidays, and they also call them the holy days, is the reading of God's Word.
That's right.
And they actually, what they read is in the first few books of the Bible.
That's right. And you know, back in those days, people, they didn't have access to Bibles, you know, like we do. Not at all. In fact, a lot of people had never even touched a Bible.
That's
Can
true.
you imagine that?
I can't. I mean, I've had a Bible my entire life. I'm sure you have as well.
Yeah. Lots of
Imagine.
Bibles in our house.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Same.
So, but these were kept by the priest. And so the priest would keep it in a safe location so that they wouldn't be damaged.
Right. And they didn't look like a book, like
No.
our book. What they looked like was a scroll, kind of like this one. We'll
That's
take that
right.
side.
Yeah. And so, you know, the Jewish holy books were always read during the feast. And did you know that sometimes they would read these for hours?
Oh.
Did you say hours? They would listen to God's word for hours?
Yep, that's right, Zeke.
That sounds really boring.
Well, Zeke, you know, it probably does sound boring to most people even. But we really should, you know, examine our hearts.
That's right. You know, God's Word is holy. It's the reason we call it the Holy Bible, the Holy Book. And, you know, since He created everything in the entire universe, shouldn't we stop and listen when He wants to talk to us?
Yeah, I guess that's true. But, hey, can I look at that scroll, man? That thing looks really cool.
Yeah, sure, you can see it.
Yeah. Would you like to read what it says next on the scroll, Zeke?
Well, sure, I'll read it.
Yeah, start right here.
Okay. Nehemiah 8 and 9.
Very good.
All the people wept when they heard the words of the law.
Good job,
Yeah,
Zeke.
very good.
Well, I have a question.
What is it?
Well, why are all the people crying when they hear God's word being read?
Well, that's a good question. And I think there's actually a few reasons that they were crying when they heard God's word read. So, partly is they're happy. You know, these people were being able to have a celebration in their holy city of Jerusalem. And remember, they hadn't been able to do this in over 70 years. So these people, it was their first time ever to have a holiday in their holy city.
That's correct.
Wow, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Well, you know, I think they were also maybe a little bit sad too, Zeke.
Well, why were they sad? This was supposed to be a celebration.
Well, you're right about that, Zeke. And actually, Ezra, if we kept reading, he told them not to be crying because it was a celebration. But there's two reasons that they were sad. So one is because they had sinned. And they knew that they had sinned. And they were sorry for their sins, so they were repenting.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, that makes sense. It was because of their sins that God allowed the city to be destroyed. But what was the second thing they were sad about?
Well, you know, when Ezra read from the Holy Book, they realized that they were doing the festival completely wrong. They weren't doing it the way it should have been done. They were supposed to be observing the festival in a tent. I know. For the entire week, they were supposed to be living in a tent.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
Well, can we do that? Can we get a tent? Can we get a tent?
Well, you know, Miss Jim, if we're going to teach this lesson the right way, I guess we ought to get in a tent.
Well,
Let's
that
get
makes
in a
sense.
tent.
Well, let's see if we can find one.
All right, you guys, come on, let's go find a tent.
This is so cool. I've always wanted to go camping. Can we make some s'mores?
Well, it's a little too early in the morning to make s'mores. Plus, we need to remember why we're here, Zeke.
Yeah, that's right. But I have a question.
Okay.
Why are we in tents?
Well, Zeke, this festival is called the Festival of Booths, which means tents. You know, every year, the Jewish people were supposed to spend one whole week in tents.
That's right.
Remembering all the ways that God has blessed them.
But I still don't get it. Can't you remember how God blessed you, like when you're in the house?
That's a good point, right?
Mm-hmm.
You're right. But see, being in the tent reminds the people of the time when all the Jewish people were in tents for 40 years. You know, when Moses led the children of Israel out of bondage, out of Egypt, and they're wandering around, well, they were there for 40 years, and they lived in tents during that time.
And if you remember, they walked and 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 they walked a
That's
lot, right? Because it was for 40 years.
Mm-hmm.
But then at night, they would stop and they would set up their tents to sleep in.
That's right.
Oh, that makes sense. So during the festival, they lived in tents to remember how God blessed them.
That's right. So, Zeke, can you think of any way that God has blessed you?
Yes, I can. He has blessed me with tons of toys to play with.
Well, I'm sure, that's nice and all, Zeke, but I think God's probably done a lot more for you than that.
Mm-hmm.
I bet Grandpa could share a few ways that God's blessed your family. Is Grandpa around anywhere?
Yeah, I'm right here.
Oh, hey, Grandpa.
Hey, how are y'all?
Good.
Good. Glad you're here.
Thank you.
Can you think of some ways that God has blessed you, Grandpa?
Oh, yes. I can think of a lot of ways He's blessed our family. The most important blessing of all is the blessing of salvation.
Oh, I agree. That is the most important blessing in my
Me
life.
too.
But what else? What else can you think that you're thankful for, Grandpa?
Well, in this country, we have freedom. We're free to worship God anytime and any place we want to.
That's right.
I'm thankful that God has blessed us with the freedom to worship.
Well, that's exactly right, Grandpa. We can worship anywhere in the USA, right? That's one of the things the U.S. stands for. But, I'm glad that God actually gave us this building, this church house, right here in the middle of Murfreesboro to come to and worship.
I am very thankful for that too. I love our church. But did you know, even before we had this church building, God blessed our church a lot then too.
Oh, yeah?
Sure did.
Yeah, this is a nice building, and I've done a lot of exploring while I was investigating this church.
Oh, I bet you have, Zeke. You were all over the place.
Yep.
But before this building was built, did you know that we actually worshiped in a school for over 2 years?
Yep, that's right. And He blessed us before that. We had another church building before this one, and it was actually on Church Street.
Well, wait a minute. What happened to make you leave that building, and then you went to the church house and then this building?
Okay, well, the reason we left was because that building was too small. We needed a bigger place, but you're not going to believe this. So we couldn't afford to buy another church. And all of a sudden, do you know what happened? There was another group of people that came to us and said, we want to buy your building. And because they bought our building, we had the money to buy this land so we could build this church.
Well, how about that?
Well, that's wonderful. God sure does know how to work things out.
Yes, He does, Grandpa.
He sure does. I could go on and on telling stories about our church history and all the ways that God has blessed us. Sometimes something seemed bad and God would make it be a good thing. And there's just a lot of ways that God has blessed us, and we should thank Him every day.
That's right.
Yeah, well, I guess that's why it took them hours to read all about God has done for them.
That's exactly what they were reading. All the things God did for them.
And even though we're in tents here today, we don't have to be in tents to worship Jesus and to thank God for everything He's done for us. We can be anywhere we want to be. Did you know that? Yeah? I see some shakings of the heads.
Yeah, that's
Yep.
right.
Yeah. But, it wouldn't be a celebration if we didn't sing.
No.
Let's sing.
Yes! Zeke, what do you want to sing?
Sing a song.
Oh, well,
Which
good.
one?
Which one do you want to sing first?
Let's sing the books of the Bible song.
Okay. So we've been working on the Old Testament,
Mhm.
and we're not ready yet to learn all of it.
Okay.
So far we've learned 25 books because we know that Nehemiah's wall was how tall?
25 feet.
That's right.
Tall.
That's right. So we're going to do 25 books.
Perfect.
Are you ready?
Yes.
Here we go. Genesis, Exodus, Leviticus, Numbers, Deuteronomy, Joshua, Judges, Ruth, 1st and 2nd Samuel, 1st and 2nd Kings, 1st and 2nd Chronicles, Ezra, Nehemiah, Esther, Job, Psalms and Proverbs, Ecclesiastes, Song of Solomon, Isaiah, Jeremiah, Lamentations. Very
Good job.
good. So then we did one more.
We have been doing that.
And actually, this is the last Sunday we're going to sing this song because next week it's a new month.
Which means a new person.
It means
book
a
of
new
the Bible.
book of the Bible.
Mhm.
And I'll give you a hint, guys. It's the one that comes next after Nehemiah.
Oh, so we can either sing our song,
Mm-hmm.
or we can go to our Bible and the table of contents, and we can figure out maybe who we're going to be talking about.
Right. So that'll be a fun month.
Yep.
So, since it's the last time we're going to sing this song about building up the temple, we want to do our very best, okay?
Okay.
So, let's get all of our friends. I want you to sit up really tall and get ready to sing out as loud as you can with gusto, okay?
Ready?
All right, you ready? I'm going to get ready. Here we go. We are building up the temple, building up the temple, building up the temple of the Lord. We are building up the temple, building up the temple, building up the temple of the Lord. Oh, brothers, will you help us? Oh, brothers, will you help us? Oh, brothers, will you help us? We are building up the temple of the Lord. We are building up the temple, building up the temple, building up the temple of the Lord. We are building up the temple, building up the temple, building up the temple of the Lord. Oh, sisters, will you help us? Oh, sisters, will you help us? Oh, sisters, will you help us? We are building up the temple of the Lord.
Nice.
Very nice.
Good job, guys.
Thank you.
Well,
I have loved being in tents, but I think it's about time to end our Sunday school lesson so we can all get to church.
that's right. We're going to have to come to a close.
Yeah.
And so before we do that, we need to pray, don't you think?
I think so.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Miss Heather, will you dismiss us in
I
prayer today?
sure will.
Okay.
And you know, while we're praying, we might want to remember things that we're thankful for, don't you think?
Yeah.
I like
Yeah. So, if you've got your hat on, take it off. And we're going to bow our heads for prayer, okay? Heavenly Father, we are so thankful for the opportunity to be here today in your church house. We're thankful, God, that you've given us a way that we can present our lessons to people to teach them about you, Lord. And we pray, God, that you would bless this lesson and let it go out to people all across our world, not just here in Murfreesboro, but that we as Christians would never stop remembering to thank you for all you've done for us. Please, dear God, be with us as we go into our church service. We pray, dear God, that in every place where your name is being proclaimed, that people would hear your word and they would believe it and that they would find you and be saved. It's in your name that we pray. Amen.
Amen. Thank
All
you.
right.
See
Bye,
you next
guys.
time.
Bye. See y'all later.